Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by Sportsman's Warehouse, Counts Marine, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, and Avery Superstore.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we move closer to next week and that 18th anniversary of being on the radio here in Memphis. We think that this is the longest running not only outdoor show in the Memphis area, but the longest running same thing sports show in Memphis. And we appreciate all you listeners out there, and whether you're in Brownsville, Jackson, whether you're in Grenada, Memphis, all over East Arkansas. But this is one of our favorite shows of the year, and what better way to close this show out is to bring into a young man that's looking forward to, we think, to going over to Lake Hamilton next weekend, starting next Friday. And, of course, we will have our man, the only Ron Wong, over there. And Ron,
I'm going to be over there, and I want everybody to know that,
and
again.
You will be reporting from over there next week.
We'll have pictures on the LROutdoors.com. Unfortunately, we won't have our sidekick, our wonderful person to do video interviews there because she has to work, Samantha Gay.
But you'll handle
so I'll have to do double duty.
You can do it double duty. And let's talk now. We got Joe Pogger on with us from the FLW Director of Communications. And, Joe, it's been a great show. Appreciate Ron setting all these great guests up. And I know if you've listened to each one of these guys, and we're going to talk to the next one rolling right up here. I don't think either one of these guys on today's show would not be a good representative for the FLW if they won this cup, right?
Absolutely. From top to bottom, Ron makes my job easy. He went and lined up these guests, and, I couldn't have done it any better myself. So great job, Ron Wong.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
our next guest.
Let's talk to our next guest.
Is who I like to say is the father of the Strike King KVD, Poppin' Perch.
Wow. This is the man, huh? I've
Todd
heard that.
Castledine.
Is that right, Todd?
Yes, sir. I kind of got a good deal with Strike King and was able to help develop some of those baits. The Pad Perch, the Pipsqueak. So,
the Pipsqueak, that's the one I like. There it is. Right. I love the names of them. That's what I want.
It's been a very good relationship with Strike King. I can say that.
Well, what makes it a good relationship? Talk about Strike King here. We don't mind talking about Strike King. It's right here in our backyard. So talk about that relationship.
Well, Strike King's just pretty much been the lure staple in the industry for over 50 years now, and I was just lucky enough to live by Phil Marks. And
there you go. Yeah,
fishing a lot of Texas events over the years. Me and him got to be pretty close, and we talked a lot. We talked a lot driving when we'd go from tournament to tournament, and we built a relationship and got on the water a few times and started talking about baits. I kind of had a different eye out, a different outlook on baits, as so did he, and so we just started kind of, developing some things in our heads and started putting it down on paper. And next thing you know, a year or two later, we started coming up with some different baits.
Wow.
And that's kind of where it's all gone from there.
Well,
and something like that. I guess it was 3 years ago, Todd. You and I were sitting in a boat out at Table Rock. You were talking about starting the FLW tour the next year, and that would have been 2 years ago now. And you said the first year I just want to get oriented with the FLW tour. I'm not going to push myself. I want to try to learn the ropes and then go for qualifying for the Cup. And now you've done it. What does it mean to you?
It means a lot. Like I said, you were right. I remember sitting out. I remember exactly what pocket we were in when we got that.
He remembers what pocket you were in. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of questions about the Cup, and I was always honest with everyone. I said I didn't care about the Cup the first year. I really didn't. I didn't want that to be a focal point.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to fish a certain way that I would progress every year.
Yeah.
And so even though I might do bad in some, I really wanted to fish my style, and I knew my style would have its growing pains. And so the first year I did, I had two I had some bad events. I had some really good ones, and I ended up barely qualifying for the Cup.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a bonus. This year, I didn't have that many bad events, and
you did.
I started narrowing that gap of having good and bad events, and I ended up qualifying a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of gone. It's gone. Obviously it could always go better, but I wasn't disappointed on how it's gone. It's kind of the way I approached it.
Well, I think when you're one of 52 in there, and you look at this lineup, and we've had some former champions on this show already this morning. So Ron has been asking these guys all this question. I'll jump in because Ron's going to ask it anyway. So, so how does Hamilton set up for Todd Castledine?
It sets up honestly really good for me. I liked Ouachita.
Yeah.
When they announced they were going back, I might have been one of the only ones, but I was all for it.
Uh-huh.
That style. There was a couple different techniques working in that event, and one of them was pretty much put your trolling motor on high and go, and that's the style that I love. I want to power fish. I want to cover water and do some things, and it's not the exact same, but it sets up pretty close. So I'm
ready.
Really looking forward to Hamilton.
I got to tell you something, and you talk about that. Earlier in the show, Todd, we were talking about there was a big tournament that was won some number of years ago by George Cochran, and he won it in the same time of the year.
Yep.
Really hot and everything, and really shallow. I have watched you throw that pipsqueak and that popping perch early in the morning. Hamilton, is that going to be a player?
I think it will be. I think any of that stuff will be a player. Anything shallow, there's obviously going to be a shallow bite and a deep bite,
mm-hmm.
and it's going to be a tough bite. And so that's the only thing that worries me is that
tough bite.
Yeah. I think if you went out there on a lot of certain days, you could just blast them.
Yeah.
When you start putting people out there for 4 days practicing,
yeah,
and they're used to the boats. They're used to the boats running around making waves. They're not that used to boats going down the shoreline. So,
right.
I just think you put these 52 guys on a lake that small for 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think it all is going to differ. I think that everything's going to change. I think it's going to get harder every day from practice day. Like
right.
the first practice day to the start of the tournament, it's going to get harder. And luckily now over the years, I've finally started to kind of like realize that and go, okay, I saw the first day.
Yeah.
I'm going to start practicing for day 7, or 6.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And really start not worrying about what happened on day 1 because I know it's all going to change and really looking for different stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying it'll work out, but I know that that's what I have to start focusing on day 1 when we're down there. Let's not get caught up into what fish are doing on day 1 because I know they'll change.
And we're talking to Todd Castledine out of Nacogdoches, Texas.
Hey, I can spell it.
Yes.
Texas.
No, we're not going to get into that. But one of the 52 qualifiers for the FLW Cup, which is next weekend, starts next Friday through Sunday. All those guys will be checking in for 4 days of practice and then a day off, and then the big event. And being the second time that Todd has been in this event, and I can see, Todd, that you're a man of focus. So let's we've asked all of the guys,
mm-hmm.
what's it going to take? And now Ron's been asking them all, and I just want to see if it makes any difference what I say. But maybe we're going to ask Joe this because he's on the show too, and we're going to put him on the spot. I've already seen who Joe picked. I've already seen that on the FLW website. Okay, I know who Joe's picking. Okay, sorry, Todd, it's not you, but I'm just going to let Joe know that. All right, if you go to the FLW site, which I thought was pretty cool. What do you think? What do you think, Todd, is going to take to win this thing?
What it's going to take, or who's going to
you're
not who.
We're asking you.
What is it going to take?
What's the weight
pounds?
going to take to win this thing?
So, I can see it going a lot of different ways. I think someone can actually weigh in a really big bag, bigger than anything that was weighed in at Ouachita. I also know that I also looked at past results, and I'm shocked sometimes to see some weights on there. So
yeah.
And what I mean by that is they're not very good sometimes.
That's right.
And it surprised me, to be honest with you, because I know they live in there and they're in there, and so I still think I want to say 13 pounds a day.
That's 39 pounds. That's right on it.
All 6 of y'all today. I mean, what have y'all been together playing cards or something?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I just think I think it should be more.
Yeah, but you're
just doing this for so long. I mean, I just know that it's just going to get hard. And I'll tell you, like being in August.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Having the August doesn't bother me as much as the fact that I got to go practice for a day and a half, and I see what happens out there at 10:30. And at 10:30, I mean, they start coming out of the woodwork down there, and they start driving around that lake.
Yeah, they do. They do.
I don't think it messes up the fishing. I think it in the sense of the fish are fine with it. It just puts a lot of waves and a lot of things out there and makes it difficult for us to actually to fish. I think you can still catch them. It just starts getting a lot more difficult. It could be like coordinating it to having a 25-mile-an-hour wind.
Yes, that's right.
They're still going to bite out there, but how hard is it to control those waves out there and catch fish in them? I just think that's a big issue. And if you go out there during the middle of the week, it's pretty bad. I haven't been out there on the weekend. So
get ready, buddy, because I've been
ready.
there.
I know.
I grew up in that area.
It's like a little ocean.
Todd, thank you, buddy. We appreciate you being on today's show. Ron Wong will be over there next weekend to keep up with you and everything. So hope you have a great tournament, and maybe we'll talk to you after it's over. Okay, buddy?
All right. Thank you all for having me.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Todd Castledown. All right, we're going to close it out, Joe. Here we go. All right, Joe, I know you've already picked John Cox, okay? I saw your pick.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you picked John. Okay.
Right.
What's the weight going to take, Joe, you think?
39 pounds.
Oh,
no, I'm
that's
kidding.
exactly.
I'm kidding. I am an optimist, and I'm going to take the over on 39 pounds. I'll say it's going to take 43.
Good. I'm writing it down here, Joe. Okay, John Cox at 43. All right, Ron. Here is my 3, okay? I'm giving my 3 first, okay?
Wait a minute. We only want one.
I'm giving you 3 choices. No, 3 choices.
What do you mean you're giving me 3
choices?
choices?
If one of those 3, I'm not going to just pick one. I mean, I don't
work. We're only picking one. Joe only picked one.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm picking one. I'm picking Brian Thrift. You asked me.
Look at who I wrote down here.
Does he have Brian Thrift over there? Okay.
Okay,
right.
You got him.
All right,
I'm going to take Larry Nixon, 40 pounds, 7 ounces.
40 pounds, 7 ounces, L.N. Nixon. Okay, so I've got Brian Thrift, and I'm going 38.5, okay, with Brian Thrift. Okay, that's because that's what he said, so I can go with him.
That's okay.
But my other choices were Brian Latimer. I'd like to see him win just for the thrill of it and what it would mean to FLW. And, of course, the general, I would have picked him. So
I did pick him, and I'm surprised you didn't pick somebody from your home state.
Well, Larry Nixon, that was my 3rd choice. Okay, all right, but I did pick.
Hey, Joe, before we have to leave again,
take
when does everything kick off?
Well, it kicks off today, actually. We've got
that's right.
Bass Pro Shops Pro Days around. We've got one in Memphis there. We've got one in Shreveport and one in Little Rock this afternoon.
Yes.
It goes from noon to 2 today. And then, of course, the fishing gets started next week. We kick off on Friday the 9th. And, you can follow along at FLWFishing.com. We're going to have our FLW Live broadcast going each day. If you make your way over to Little Rock and Hot Springs, come see us. We've got the free expo going all weekend. We've got a Bass and Barbecue Festival, Trace Adkins concert, for free, by the way. And, a lot of fun for the whole entire family. You can find out all the details at FLWFishing.com.
Okay, and we'll be back next week, Dave Gabbard and Gene Smith, and we'll be talking about the Duck, Buck, and Bass Expo, which is also going on next weekend here in Memphis at the Agri Center. Ron Wong, thank you.
Always enjoy it.
Thank you. Joe, thank you, buddy, for being with us. And this is Larry Ray. Remind you I do each and every week. It doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And what else?
God bless the USA.